15 years, blowing the doors off the competition. Podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.com.
This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
This is a Class 1 emergency. All civilian traffic is barred from streets and highways. Stay in your homes. Stay in your homes. Stay in your homes. Repeat, this is a Class 1 emergency. All civilian traffic is barred from streets and highways.
Do not panic. Do not panic. We've got the quirky films for your quarantine blues. Subject Cinema presents Captive Audience Theater with T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown.
You know, I'm really starting to regret doing this show because it's just this was the new depths of pain for this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it was terrible. The dancing was awful. Everything else was awful. Whose bright idea was this?
Yours, actually.
Oh, no. You're not laying that on me. We both said we wanted to see it. Masochists that we are after seeing it on Dark Corners.
Yes, but I was kidding.
You were not kidding.
I didn't think you'd take me seriously.
Welcome to Subject Cinema Presents
Captive Audience Theater.
I'm T.C. Kirkham.
Hi, I'm Kim Brown.
Oh, God. You know how we're always saying if we have to suffer, you have to suffer? We're going to amend that this time.
I can't do that.
We can't do that to you guys.
We can't do that to you guys.
I mean, in all fairness, it's
care
free.
About
you can see it on TV for free if you have cable. Or
we care about you so much that we can't say we saw it and it hurt, so you have to see it and share our pain. If you want to see it and share our pain, on your head be it, if you're old enough to watch it.
We both become fans of a YouTuber who does a show called Dark Corners of This Sick World.
Yes.
He does these great reviews, and I'd never heard of it. She had, until we saw his review of it a few weeks ago. And we're both sitting there going, we should watch this because it looks so bad it's good. It'll be fun to laugh at. Oh, no.
No.
Trust me, no.
Oh, sweet baby penguins,
the movie
no.
is 1965's Orgy of the Dead.
Yep.
Starring, and I'm using that term loosely.
Oh, yeah.
Criswell.
Which told you right there we were in trouble.
Fawn Silver, Pat Berenger, and William Bates as Bob.
Yeah.
Bob?
Bob.
Okay. This thing is... excuse me. A little bit of background. Criswell was quite a popular columnist in Hollywood in the 40s and 50s and even into the 70s. In fact, we actually carried a column by him in a free TV magazine in Lancaster in the early 80s. Criswell Predicts. He was known for his outlandish predictions, prognostications. Couldn't he see how bad these movies were going to be
Apparently
at the
not.
box office if he was, getting all these things in his head and visions of planets running into ours and all these things? And I mean, God, his predictions were terrible, but his acting. Now I know where John Lovitz got the idea for Master Thespian. I swear. Seriously, this was based on a book written by Ed Wood.
Yep.
Right there is...
Wrap your minds around that sentence, why don't you?
God. Okay, why don't you take over a little bit here and tell these poor unsuspecting souls we're about to subject to this movie what they're in for.
Okay. Directed by Stephen C. Apostolov under another alias, A.C. Stephen.
Now, Apostolov, he's known for other bad films, right?
Yeah, he's known for other, the whole erotic horror genre, and films that I wouldn't, spend $2 on anyway.
I see why. I'm just looking at the titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This film, Orgy of the Dead, with a title like that, you think we'd be actually in for some really good gore or horror or something like that. Nope.
It's not even a horror movie.
Nope.
Not theoretically.
Oh no.
It falls under the exploitation banner of nudie cuties.
Yes.
It's basically I'm going to be really vulgar here. Women, I'm sorry if I offend you. It's 80 minutes of strippers shaking their jugs around for the camera.
Pretty much.
That's all it is.
Nudie cuties.
And inside of these little vignettes with Criswell and his dead minions.
Yeah.
Mince.
Nudie cuties, for the most part, were films that had semi-nude women. Because no one in this film is completely nude.
No, they're topless. They all have at least a G-string on, but most of them have panties or bikini bottoms.
Or at least in one case, a thong.
Yeah.
So technically, nobody's actually nude. And not completely nude. I realize I mentioned that there are topless women, so I know a lot of guys out there, after I said the words topless women, everything after that was white noise. But the other thing is that these films, while they do show women in various states of undress, they don't show nobody's having sex. So they're not they wouldn't fall into the category of hardcore porn or even softcore porn, which is, sex with Vaseline all over the lens, so you can't see what's going on.
There is one really cool thing about this movie. It actually literally managed to define the classic Looney Tunes phrase, "Oh, listen, crickets."
Yeah.
There are actual crickets going in the dead parts of this movie.
There's more than a few moments.
Oh my God, are you serious?
There's more than a few moments where you could get up, walk in the kitchen, pour yourself a soda, and come back, and there's still no dialogue. Just chirp, 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 chirp.
Mm-hmm.
So the plot
that's actually a plus in many cases.
Yeah, because we don't have to listen to the dialogue, because Sweet Caroline, the
Criswell
dialogue.
in particular.
Oh my gosh. The plot of this film, and I'm being very kind, basically...
Again, I don't think there's a plot to this film. I think there's an outline that goes around just nude dancing.
The alleged plot.
What do they call that? A
framing device.
Framing device. It's a framing device around a bunch of nude dancers.
Yeah.
Mostly nude dancers.
The alleged plot of this film is the actions of a group of... They're referred to as ghouls and fiends and such, although I personally think both of those depictions are crap. A couple driving at night, because he's a writer, but I'm like, if he writes the way he says dialogue, these books are probably about as intellectually stimulating as Go Dog Go.
Or as well as he drives.
Yeah,
apparently.
really. Bob and Shirley are out for a drive because he wants to go to a cemetery for inspiration for his writing.
For horror stories.
For horror stories. That's his story. Anyway.
Now, they never gave any other indication other than that.
Other than the fact that Bob is a dullard. And
he's more than a dullard. He's a dullard that can't act.
Yeah. And
it's like watching somebody it's like watching Whose Line's version of a high school play. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're out searching for a cemetery. Bob wants to find this cemetery so he can get more inspiration for his horror fiction. And Shirley is all like, I'm scared. I want to go home. And she says that line about 95 times. And
or
this is
some variation
or,
of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a variation of Take Me Home. And considering that considering Bob is driving and Shirley is almost sitting in his frickin' lap.
She's right up against him.
Good
right up against next to him, like they're cuddling.
Yeah, this is like
as they're driving their boat. Car. Down the
it's not like they're in a Volkswagen Beetle or something where you would have to be that
it looks
close.
Like a Cadillac,
it's a large car.
Mm-hmm.
So they get in an accident and wind up somewhere.
An accident. He drives over a freaking cliff.
Well, it's an alleged
accident.
It's an alleged accident. It goes with the alleged plot and the alleged beautiful women
and the alleged dancing. Although some of the dancing was not.
There was a few of the dancers that weren't too bad when it came to the actual dancing. So anyway, we find out through the film that they are hovering between death and life, and
life and death,
or whichever. They're not quite dead yet, but they're
purgatory and limbo.
Could we keep going? So they wind up at this cemetery, apparently. And what's going on is that...
They found it, didn't they?
They did find... Well, they found a cemetery. We never know if it's the cemetery that they were...
He remembers being on this road, right?
Yeah, blah, blah. And this cemetery is not just full of dead people who are quiet. There's actually the Emperor of... What the hell were they calling him? They just called him the Emperor. Yeah.
Emperor of the Night, I think.
Something like that, yeah. The Emperor
and... We've just watched it just this afternoon, and I've already blotted it out.
The Emperor and his female companion, the Black Ghoul, who sit around, and their whole deal is that the dead have to dance and perform for the Emperor to be decided what's going to happen in the afterlife to them. Blah, blah. So Shirley and Bob wind up watching these women, and we get several women who dance, and like stuff about their lives are brought up in the dancing and all this stuff like that. They wind up getting caught, tied, Dr. Evil quotes, tied.
It isn't that easy to get out of that, despite what you think. I mean, I've seen them do it on, escape shows. It's not as easy to get out of that as you think.
All right. They get captured by the Mummy and the Wolfman, who are somehow also in this film. They're apparently the henchmen for the Emperor.
They're the comic relief, folks. Supposedly.
Comic relief, Dr. Evil quotes again. So we get 10 dances from 10 different women because, as the Emperor brings up, no one wants to see a man dance. I'm like, actually, hello, raising my hand, waving it back and forth. It's not a question of nobody wants to see men dance. I want to see men dance.
Well,
I just don't want to see these men dance. That's,
What was he said? What did he say about the cat? The pussy cat is put on the earth to be whipped?
Yeah, cats are born to be whipped because one of these women is dressed
the only one
allegedly like a cat
the entire time.
No, she didn't.
Didn't she? Oh, no, she did take it off.
No, she did take it off.
That's right.
Yeah, she did take the...
But she was clothed a lot longer than the other ladies.
She was clothed a lot longer than the other ladies, and we actually saw her take off what she was wearing. The other women, it would be like they'd come out, dance for a second in their clothes, and there's a jump cut, then we're back. Whoa, we have no clothes on anymore, except a thong and occasionally shoes.
Shot of Criswell looking, and she's naked.
And she's naked. I'm like, okay, so your outfits are made of crepe paper? Did they just come off like that? I mean, it's just like, good grief. So, as I mentioned, we get treated. Treated?
It's not a treat. A treat is an ice cream cone.
If you want to take treat, if you take treat in the same way you equal a blow to the head, we get 10 numbers from these different women who are supposed to be dancing for their afterlife, I guess.
Because they all committed bad things.
They were all,
life.
yeah, they were all did bad things, I guess.
Cat did.
No, I don't either. I don't know. And it's so bad. And like I mentioned, Bob and Shirley got captured, and apparently the Black Ghoul has the hots for for Shirley, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a lot of bickering that goes on until all of a sudden it's daytime, and I mean it's really daytime.
She's whining. Oh, master, we're going to be too late. The sun will be coming up soon. The moon is disappearing. I want more dances. Yeah. And then finally, whoops! Oh, there's the sun all the way up in the middle of the sky.
Yeah, it's apparently high noon now.
Just like the snake woman and her snake from another movie.
Yeah, we have a point. We have a point in the film where we have. Now, each of the women has a different gimmick.
Yeah.
The first girl is supposed to be a Native American dancer, who is
neither Native nor American from the look of it.
Well, no, she looks about as Native American as I do. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing to everybody. So anyway, and that she loved flames and her lovers all died in flames, so she dances and there's flames around and it was just, and the next woman was supposed to have been a hooker in life, and now she's even a hooker in death, and so on and so forth. It gets worse and worse and worse from there. We have women being whipped. We have a woman being whipped while she's wearing a cat outfit, and it just keeps going. It doesn't get any better.
I want to give credit to the ladies that did the dancing because it's only fair to them. They got stuck in this thing too. Hawaiian dancer was Mickey Shines. She was the one with the really colorful outfit, I think. The skeleton
that was
dancer.
The one with the snake.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The skeleton dancer was Barbara Norden. The Indian dance was done by Bunny Glacier. The slave dance by Nadja Klein. She was Nadja Dobrev at the time, and she, according to the notes on this, did not know it was a nudie movie when she arrived to the set. Mm-hmm. The Colleen O'Brien did the streetwalker dance. Lorelei Hart, the cat dance, under her name Texas Star. The Renee DeBow did the fluff dance. Stephanie Jones, the Mexican dance, and I think that's the snake dance.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. And Denny Starnes was the zombie, which was just terrible. The only one of the dances that really had no choreography.
No.
And the Mummy and the Wolfman were played respectively by Louis Oinya and John Andrews.
Yeah. So anyway, the sun comes up. Whoop! There it is. And the ghouls and monsters all turn to skeletons, and it turns out that Bob and Shirley are revived by some paramedics who apparently somebody on a deserted road actually saw them go off a cliff or whatever. And they're actually alive and everything's okay, but then we get some more dialogue from Criswell at the end being like, you might join us soon. The end. Thank you, whoever deity you pray to, that this is over. Oh my gosh. Wow. Everyone says, oh, Plan 9 from Outer Space is the worst Ed Wood movie in existence.
Well, Ed
no,
Wood
it's not.
didn't make this movie. He just wrote it.
He wrote it.
He wrote the book that it's based on. He was on set helping out, and he held the cue cards for Criswell, because Criswell couldn't remember his lines. So, I gotta say about this movie, though, there are some...
If you say redeeming qualities, I'm going to smack you.
Slightly redeeming qualities to this.
Ew.
Number one, the dances are all, except for the zombie dance, extremely well choreographed. You can tell these women have previous experience in burlesque. They know exactly what they're doing. They were strippers and burlesque dancers, and they knew exactly how to make this work. The dances were fairly good. The kind of raucous dance, the rock and roll one, that was the skeleton dance, I think. I was a little overboard. And the zombie was just walking around like a zombie, pretty much. But the rest of them, we both commented on the dancing is actually not bad.
The dancing that the one girl did, the slave girl, that was actually good. I actually thought that was a good dance. And the girl that wound up dunked in gold, that was actually not bad either. Which was actually
the same actress that was playing Shirley.
Yeah. She was actually not a bad dancer because she sucked as an actress. But
she's actually a famous name in other sexploitation films.
Good grief, this movie hurts.
The other thing, and I think Kim and I will be arguing about this forever, I think this was one of the inspirations for the Rocky Horror Show.
I don't see how. I still don't see how.
The scene where Bob and Shirley are talking about finding help after the accident is right out, or actually sounds remarkably similar to Brad and Janet's discussion about getting help for their car, and then they walk in on this weird ceremony. Here it's an Orgy of the Dead, and the ceremony in the movie it's the time warp. I think this is one of those B-movie exploitation films that Richard O'Brien brings up in the theme song.
You could be right. I don't know. Well, the big difference...
It is a cult hit.
The big difference there is that Shirley speculates that what they're seeing might be a college initiation.
Yeah.
And in Rocky Horror, Brad is saying that he thinks what's going on are foreigners, and and they actually are foreigners. They're supposed to be aliens. So, that what they're doing is folk dancing. So I don't know. You might have a point.
I think there's, Richard O'Brien talks greatly in Science Fiction Double Feature about the different stuff that he brought up, and I think this is one of those movies that influenced his thinking and his writing for that part of that movie.
I don't know. I mean, the other movie... Well, in Science Fiction Double Feature, they do mention a bunch of different movies. For the most part, they're all good movies.
Well, they're not going to mention Orgy of the Dead, because it wouldn't get on any screen.
But this movie, oh my gosh. When you think you've seen enough bad films, and between the two of us, we've seen quite a lot. You kind of think, you think you've seen everything, and then you see a movie where a woman in a bridal dress strips out of the dress and dances with allegedly the skeleton of her murdered husband, and you're
that she murdered.
Yeah, that she murdered on their wedding night, and you go, nope, that I apparently have not seen everything. And that's something else that I would like to bring up.
Okay.
I don't want to sound like I'm, this isn't going to come out nicely, and I admit that, and I don't want to sound like a prude, and I mean, goodness knows, people in the New England area, we have a reputation for that. There's a reason the phrase banned in Boston is so well known.
Oh, I don't think this was banned in Boston. I think this was banned in New England.
Really? But when you think about what's going on screen in this movie, now you've got all of these women who, for the most part, are nude. I mean, like I mentioned, they've got bottoms on, but they don't have any tops on. So you've got breasts.
One of them has flats.
One of them, and one of them was wearing flats. Okay. But you've got semi-nude women gyrating around on in this film.
Yeah.
And obviously this was supposed to turn somebody on.
Mm-mm.
Can I bring up the fact that all of the women in this film, their characters are dead? Their characters are supposed to be dead.
You have to leave it to her to piss on the horny man's party.
So if any guy out there got a stiff one from watching this movie, you are a real sick beep.
You can say freak,
You are a real sick freak. Seriously. I mean, wow, this movie is just straight up messed up.
There.
But it's true. When you think about it,
it wasn't true. I just said only you would go there.
Well, that's because I have a unique way of thinking.
A masterpiece of exotic horror, the tagline said. I don't think so.
Well, it's a movie you won't forget.
It is a classic. It is considered a cult classic. Believe it or not, we discovered a new company because of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Vinegar Syndrome is the name of the company that has released it on Blu-ray in 2017. They are a Criterion Collection type company that specializes in genre films and have released a lot of these kind of films with brand new restored prints, including this film. God help us all. And a lot of sex movies, sexploitation movies, horror films. So vinegarsyndrome.com if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
You can see it on TV, but if you have a Roku, you can check it out on Crackle, or Sony Crackle if you have a streaming service. It's free. Mm-hmm. It has commercials in it, but it is free. And something called Hollywood Horror, is another Roku channel, also has it, which is one of these one of these freebie channels that you get all these terrible movies on.
Yep.
It was not rated in America, and it is actually...
It's because it was being shown at theaters where you didn't have to worry about underage people walking in.
Banned in Finland.
So people in Finland have more taste than people in America. There's a shock.
So,
all right.
Exactly. For our initials, Captive Audience Theater, where would you categorize this movie?
The category that this film is going to go into is, who thought this was sexy? I mean, really, you have a film full of mostly nude women, and you're still sitting there going, when is this going to be over? Because, I'm sorry, only a film written by Ed Wood could take half-naked women and still make it boring.
Okay, yeah. See all this? You gotta just calm down.
Oh my gosh, this movie really, really, really hurt.
It is a cult classic, and if you're a cult film, we wouldn't actually urge you to see it because it's so painful, but...
if you think you've seen everything...
The dancing is actually not that bad, and
a few times.
After the first 4 or 5, it gets really repetitive. And all the whining. I also want to say, I still think that what do they call her in this movie?
Who?
The Dark Ghoul, or the Mistress of the Night, or whatever they called her.
The Black Ghoul, yeah.
The Black Ghoul. You can tell this was clearly the inspiration for Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Well,
it's an exact copy. It's an exact copy of the outfit. Well, the long black dress, the huge cleavage, the huge pompadour hair.
But Vampira had already done all of that.
But she didn't do the hair that way.
The hair, no. But the dress and the whole
dress, didn't she? And tattered and everything. It wasn't. It was clearly inspired. In fact, Vampira was supposed to play the role, and she turned it down finally. It was written for her. So I can't blame her. Yeah, good for her.
Really.
She learned her lesson from doing Plan 9, apparently. We'll have more Captive Audience Theater in the days and weeks ahead as we continue through this wild quarantine we're going through.
Yep.
We hope you'll check out this show and recommend us to your friends on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And... don't forget that we have a ton of other shows and sites out there, including East Cinema 1, East Cinema Boston, Platinum Rose's Garden, Ring Around the Rosie, Cave Babble, and a few other ones out there. And we hope that you'll continue to check it out and watch our stuff, read through it, keep in touch with us. My Twitter is eCinema1. Kim is at Platinum Rose L. And you can write to us about this or anything else. Let us know other movies we can do here or whatever at our usual address, subjectcinema@PNRNetworks.com.
Yep.
Until next time, for Captive Audience Theater, I'm T.C. Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
May your popcorn always be buttered.
And may your roses always be in bloom.
TTFN.
Bye now. Be safe.
You've been listening to Subject Cinema presents Captive Audience Theater with Kim Brown and T.C. Kirkham. Produced by PNRNetworks, Boston, Massachusetts.
"15 years, blowing the doors off the competition, podcasting to planet Earth.
PNRNetworks.com